Okay.
Cute. Okay. Welcome everyone to day 20 of our 40-day challenge of long neck home cars or morning call. I personally cannot believe that it's already day 20, which is our halfway point. That is mind-blowing to me. And I think one of the most beautiful things about doing these meditative challenges together is that they allow us to create a ritual that sustains and supports us and helps to quiet the mind and give us more ability to be present in our lives, to show up for ourselves and to feel good. So we've already started on this journey of creating a ritual that works for us. And today, because it's day 20, I want to talk to you, and I've invited my dear friend Lena to be here as well, to talk to you about other rituals that can help support and sustain us on our daily journey. Because in reality, our lives are moving meditations. So we don't get to be monks who go sit in caves and seclude ourselves from the world. We have lives, we have jobs, we have careers, we have children, we have hobbies, we have family, we have so many obligations, we have so many things that we have to do and be and become that we don't get to separate ourselves. And so we have to act in our lives as though they are moving meditation. And so having these beautiful, powerful rituals that enhance us in our moving meditation is what we're going to talk about today. So I'm really excited for you to be here. I'm really excited for you to learn about the things that we have prepared for you. And I'm excited to do day 20 of this challenge with you as well. So I want to do a little bit of introducing, and then I'm going to talk for a little bit about some of my favorite rituals, and then Lena's going to talk about some of hers, and then we will do 11 minutes of morning call. So just to introduce myself, actually, I'm going to introduce Lena first. So Lena is a very special human being. If you haven't noticed already, she's just always glowing. She's so radiant. She's a mama of 4. And she is a holistic nutritionist. So she has such a beautiful background in incorporating supplements and food and feeling good and having healthy relationships with those things, eating intuitively. She just has so much familiarity with what's out there, what we put into our bodies that then help us to find greater peace and stillness and feel good as we're interacting with the world. So she has so much background and wisdom, and she spends her life learning from her own journey and then helping others to have the same tools that helped her to heal, which I think is so beautiful because what we do in each of us in our individual lives parallels so well. And Lena and I met through social media. And then we actually met in person by accident, kind of. It wasn't by accident, it was synchronicity. So I was doing a sound bath for a group of powerful women, and she was one of them. And it was leading up to a doTERRA convention, I believe. And she had messaged me on Instagram the week before and said, "I'm so excited to meet you in person." And I had no idea what she was talking about. And then, but she must have known, or I don't know. Then like a couple of days later, someone asked me to do the sound bath for their event. So it was so random. And then I was like, I just smiled when she messaged me, and I was like, I'm not going to say that I don't know what she's talking about. I'm just going to hope that she knows what she's talking about. And she did. And so we have become really dear friends, and she has taught me so much. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about myself and then how we got to be working on things like this together. So for those of you who do know my story, this will be just a little bit of backstory, but I won't delve too much into it. But my name is Tara, and I'm a certified Kundalini yoga teacher. And I came across Kundalini when I was in a very abusive marriage, and it helped me to heal. So it helped me to shift out of a place of fear and of PTSD, quieted my mind, gave me so many tools so that I could function in a healthy way with the world. And before, years ago, I was working at doTERRA Corporate, and I was responsible for all of their education in the leadership development department. So all the things about all the oils I was in charge of. And I really, really loved the essential oils, and I used them always in my practice. I felt very confident in my experience with the oils and the knowledge that I had about the oils. And so I loved them. And but I didn't really know about, I wasn't really convinced about anything else. So before I started Good Vibes Collective, I was at doTERRA. And then I felt like I needed to quit because I wanted to build Good Vibes Collective. I wanted to give people tools to enhance their practice. I wanted to share the healing that I had been able to experience in my own life. And then the oils just came back into my life because I was still using them. And then Lena came along, and here we are. But I'll share a little bit more about that later. But I want to really dive in to some of these rituals that will enhance your personal practice and the things that have helped me in my personal practice. Because sometimes it can be difficult to settle into our meditation. It can be difficult to make the time. And then we aren't doing the things that fill our cups, that allow us to be in all the places, doing all the things that are required of us. And so I love the essential oils. And I am partial to doTERRA essential oils because they are so pure and you can smell and feel the difference. So for those of you who come to my class every week and you've experienced the essential oils and you've experienced them partnered together and how they enhance your practice. And you've gotten to experience a lot of the essential oils. But I wanted to just touch on a few of my favorite essential oils that I use pretty regularly in my practice. And then I'm going to talk about a couple of other things that have helped me create rituals around my meditative practice and being healthier. And all of these things have helped me to continue in that moving meditation, to feel really good in my personal practice of life. So the first essential oil that I want to talk to you about is like the king of essential oils, the queen. It's not really the queen of essential, it's more the king. But it's frankincense. So frankincense is my protective oil. So I put frankincense on a lot before I meditate. And I usually put it on the base of my neck. The base of that neck is a really important energetic portal. So I just, and sorry to use the term energetic portal if that sounds just too woo-woo for you. But it's the base of the brain. So you can think about it that way in a more scientific sense. But I love frankincense. So frankincense I always put on the back of my skull before I meditate. And frankincense is considered the father oil. So it helps us to tap into our masculine energy. It also helps us to tap into the masculine portion of our higher power, that father role. And it can help us to heal father issues, daddy issues. So if you have things that you really want to heal and look at in that way, it can be very helpful for that. And then it's super protective. So I love doing that, especially if I'm going out afterwards and I've done all this work, I've done my meditation, and I want to feel even more safe. Even though I've done my Mangala Charan mantra to protect myself, this is my go-to oil. So I love frankincense. And then I wanted to share lavender because lavender is a very calming oil. So sometimes it takes a little time for us, and right now you're on day 20 of this challenge. So a lot of you have been sharing all these emotions that have been coming up. You've been sharing the experiences that you've had. And morning calls is so beautiful for awakening things. And so you'll kind of be able to sense and tell what of these oils will be able to help you on your emotional journey as you travel through this meditation. So lavender is really good for calming. It's just widely known that you can use this oil to help you sleep at night. And if you're feeling anxious, it's so beautiful for that. So we got our cute little purple lavender. So I always keep that everywhere. I've got a trillion bottles of it, and all of them are half empty. But it's so nice to have. So I love both of those two. And then another oil for when you feel anxious or emotional is balance. So this is another essential oil that I use so regularly in my practice because it's a grounding blend. So I want to show you this one. So balance I love to put on the bottom of my feet, especially when I'm seated cross-legged. So frankincense and balance are probably two of my go-tos when I'm meditating. I'll put frankincense on the back of my head and balance on the soles of my feet. And I love those two together, especially because if you're into zodiac or astrology at all, I'm an air sign, and I tend to be a little more flighty. And I get spacey and distracted. And so balance helps me to feel grounded. And I have, in my whole natal chart, I have one earth sign in all of my natal chart. So got lots of fire, lots of water, and lots of air. So lots of movement and no being pinned down. So I love balance because it helps me to feel super safe inside myself and super grounded. So that's a beautiful essential oil that I use a lot in my practice. And then I wanted to talk about On Guard. Mostly fire and air. Okay, so you're just like creating lots of heat and traveling upward, that upward energy. That's beautiful. Okay, so next essential oil I wanted to chat with you about is On Guard. And I love On Guard because when we are doing lots of emotional work, we are weakening our physical defense in some ways because we are digging deep. So we are opening a lot of stuff, kind of like a Pandora's box. And so sometimes we can feel drained energetically, and we can feel sick as a result. And so I love On Guard. It's a protective blend because it really helps to keep you feeling good even when you're transitioning as you feel all of these emotions, which can be so overwhelming, right? Some of you have shared things, they're so powerful. Like you are cleansing and detoxing, especially with Morning Call. It is just like sweeping out the corners, right? And On Guard helps to get really into the cracks as well. It's just like nothing goes unturned. It's just so beautiful. And this has so many things in it. Wild orange, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, warming oils that can help you to feel on fire, okay? On fire in your life and really safe in yourself. So that one is so beautiful too. I probably say that about every essential oil because they're all like my children. I'm very proud of them. I love them. They're everywhere in all my spaces because whenever I need them, they're there. They have been with me through some very painful things, and I'm so grateful for them. I want to talk about two other oils. I'm going to save the last oil I want to share for another ritual that I like to incorporate in my life meditation. Okay, and the first one is peppermint. And peppermint is also one of those go-to essential oils that is invaluable. And in my class, for those of you who come to my class, we've talked about how the brain recognizes fragrance, how it recognizes scent. So they used to think that it was the shape of the molecule. And the olfactory system was recognizing these molecule shapes. And what they discovered was that there were two different molecules that smelled the same, but they were the same shape molecule, but the brain could still tell that they were different things, even though, like, based on the shape of the molecule, they should smell the same. Sorry, I didn't explain that very well. So they were the same shape molecule, but the brain recognized that they were different. And so what they realized is that fragrance smells are waves. And so essential oils pair so beautifully with our meditative practice, particularly Kundalini, because everything that we're tapping into is an energetic wave. So we're using our breath, we're using our mantra, which are beautiful energy and sound waves, and And then we're using essential oils, which also have a wave frequency, which is so beautiful and so just mind-blowing to me every time I think about it, that it's an energetic wave and that we can raise our vibrations with our meditative practice and also by using essential oils. So when you feel a certain way, you're feeling low, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling all these different things, you can use an essential oil and you can raise your vibration. And so peppermint is one of those essential oils that we use a lot because you notice it instantly. Your lungs open, you feel that cooling, calming feeling, which is a sign of clearing, right? So for those of you who've been doing morning call and you've been feeling that clearing, cooling space, you are experiencing that, and peppermint just ramps it up. You just feel that sensory experience. You feel awake, you feel alive, and you breathe differently, right? You feel the channel opening. And our breath is everything. So I love peppermint because it reminds me to breathe. And I just feel it like, oh my gosh, I'm alive. I have lungs. I can change my breath. I can change my space. I don't have to feel stuck because I have my breath. So I love peppermint. One of my very favorites. And I love it for digestive health too. I have lots of digestive issues and I'll just douse myself with peppermint. And then I end up just feeling like a peppermint or smelling like a peppermint patty, which who can be mad about that? No one, except maybe those close to you who don't want you smelling like a peppermint patty. And the last essential oil I really wanted to talk about is one of my personal favorites. And I think Alina, I don't know what you called you Alina. I think Lena can attest to that. That's why I said that. Attest. I was blending them all together. I think she can attest to this as well. This essential oil is called Anchor. And those of you who've come to my class, you've also experienced this oil. Yep, she's got it. Cheers. It is the most beautiful oil. Like the most beautiful. Has cinnamon, sandalwood, black pepper. It has that frankincense in it. Also lavender. And it has that patchouli in it. So it is such a beautiful oil blend. And I will always just put it in my hands, rub it all over my neck, and instantly I feel so good. Oh, in the hair, you just can smell delicious. And I love that this blend is called Anchor because it's a steadying blend. So when I, again, feel flighty or anxious, where I really feel like I've been meditating too much and I'm getting way up there in the ethers and I'm just like space case and I'm feeling so good that I need to also be here on planet Earth. This essential oil is my go-to, my number one go-to essential oil. I cannot live without it. Also, we have a special visitor. If you can hear my niece, she is here. No, there's no apology necessary. She is visiting and she is so cute. She likes to growl. So enjoy. But it's also not me, just in case you were worried. Okay, so those are my favorite essential oils for enhancing my meditative practice. And I keep them also in my purse, my backpack, my fanny pack, my car, anywhere that I might frequent. I keep them with me so that I can return to that place that I've established on my sheepskin. I can bring that emotional peace and balance with me wherever I go. Okay. So I want to talk about a couple of rituals, two specifically. Oh, passion. That is a good one. Passion is also a delicious oil. When you really want to light the fires, it's a good one. I want to talk about one of my most favorite rituals that helped to serve as an anchor point for me in my meditative practice. So sometimes I would get distracted in the morning. And I would just get out of bed, I'd brush my teeth, I'd start working on things, and I would forget about doing my meditative practice. And then this ritual helped me to create this lovely, safe space for myself that felt so good. And the minute I wake up, I'm so excited. So I have a hot water tea kettle, and I just turn my hot water tea kettle on, and I get out my mug, and I have collected so many mugs over the years, and I pull out a mug. This is today's mug, and I just really feel so excited about that. And then I pour a couple of drops of lemon essential oil into my mug. And I was trying it with lemon before, actual lemons. And I hated how it made my belly feel. It was too acidic. So I love the essential oil because it comes from the rind. So you get that beautiful lemon that wakes up your digestive tract. And then I added just a little spoonful of honey. And I just stir it up. And I come back to my sheepskin, sit down, and I drink my lemon water. And that has been an anchor point for my meditative practice and for my health practice. So first thing in the morning, I know what I'm going to do. And it's consistent for me. And I feel amiss if I don't do that. And it helps me throughout my day because I've taken care of my digestive system by waking it up with this lemon water. And then what I love to do is I take my supplements, my doTERRA LLV, which Lena's going to talk about in a second, with my lemon water. And it has helped me create some self-love rituals that help me every single day. And I was kind of skipping some of those things, and it has made huge improvements. Maybe it just has enhanced my life. I've leveled up. Okay, that's the best way to put it. I leveled up, and I'm really happy about that. So I'm going to turn the time over to Lena because she's going to talk about these supplements. But I will say this about them, and this is what I was saying for later, and it's later. I didn't take the supplements when I worked at doTERRA. I took the chewables because I'm a child sometimes. I was like, the vitamins, chewable vitamins are like candy. I don't really eat candy, but I can eat vitamins and I can chew them. And that was like my treat to myself. And I didn't really notice the benefits because I'm 5'10" and I'm not a child and I needed more nutrients in my life. And so it wasn't enough. And so I started taking the supplements. And some of you know that I was in a horrible horseback riding accident. And I have struggled with severe, severe pelvis pain for the last 6 years. And sitting cross-legged is so painful. My yoga practice sometimes is so painful. And a lot of you know that I did a 40-day challenge before this 40-day challenge. And I did Nabi Kriya. And I was really worried that it would hurt my hips to do Nabi Kriya because it's all leg lifts and ab work. And it's grueling. But I was taking the supplements at the same time. It was when I started taking the supplements. And taking the supplements and doing my Nabi Kriya together, I have not had pelvis pain. And this makes me feel really emotional. Because I have not been able to sit for years without severe discomfort. Sorry, I did not know I was going to cry about this. I've not been able to sit. I've not been able to stand. I can't walk up an incline. I can barely walk upstairs without so much pain. And taking the enzymes, the enzymes and the supplements, and doing my Nabi Kriya, which strengthened and released all this pain that I was keeping in my hips and in my navel point. Doing those two things together, helping to heal my digestive tract, and release this inflammation in my body. I can't even tell you, obviously, how much of a difference, I love you too, Lisa, how much of a difference it made in my life. And so I wanted to touch on that sometimes we need other things to enhance our meditative practice of life. Because I was doing so much emotional work thinking, I can heal my hips if I just do my emotional work. Like, that should be enough, right? Like, I'm doing Fist of Anger for 300 hours. That should get rid of everything. I shouldn't have any physical ailments as a result. But I just feel so thankful and confident that this was the right duo for me, was pairing these powerful supplements with my meditative practice, my grueling Nabi Kriya. And it came out the other side like, whoa, what just happened? Like, I feel transformed. I feel so good. And that also helps to enhance those rituals, like taking the time to do these little things that help us to feel more connected to ourselves, to feel more confident in who we are, and to feel safe in ourselves. So I'm going to turn some time over to Lena. Sorry about I'm not sorry, but it was just a surprise to me. That was going to be great. So.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. First of all, let me say how honored I am to be here. I really feel like I'm kind of levitating just listening to you talk and share your story. And it's just really, really touching. So thank you. Paul took the boys to the pool, but my dog is having a little fit. So I apologize if you can hear in the background. I promise it's not a child, it's my dog. But as Tara said, my name is Lena, and I'm just loving this world of natural health and healing. It's been a part of my life now for the last 6.5 years. And it's kind of interesting how the journey really happened for me, but it was sort of initiated by my twins. They were born really premature, and we didn't know if we would ever be able to bring them home from the hospital. So as a mama bear, I just took things into my own hands and got on Google and figured out different ways that I could eliminate some of the side effects that they were experiencing. And through that journey, because prior to that I was a high school teacher, so I had to quit my job to care for them. So through the journey of healing in that first year, I decided to become a nutritionist. I'm someone that's a doer, so I couldn't just sit at home watching my baby suffer and heal and all the things. And so I decided I would dig deeper into this world and really figure out what more there was to food and how it's so effective at healing our body, and how incorporating things like whole foods, right? Actually eating foods in season, eliminating those processed foods or refined sugars, and just living in a way like God intended. It really has been such a beautiful, beautiful experience. And since then, I love my job. I've become an entrepreneur, and I get to help other women and other families find healing in simple things, making small, small, simple changes that make the biggest impact over time. So I love that I got to meet Tara in the fall, and that we were fast friends, and that we have come together to work in a capacity to help other women. And it really touches me. So again, thank you so much for having me here. I love what she shared about the supplements. It made me so emotional. She's not the only one. I mean, I work with a lot of people who have miraculous results from something as simple as taking a whole food supplement. And it's really interesting because I get this question a lot in my practice is, are you sure we even need a multivitamin? I eat really well. Or some people that are more skeptical, they don't eat necessarily very well, but they're like, I don't need a supplement because they don't really work anyways. And so there's all this talk and confusion around what they are and how they can really serve the body. And I think what's really important to kind of pinpoint and understand is that it is not your fault for being nutrient deficient. So every single one of us lives here in the US, or maybe you don't, but those of us who do, we live on what you would consider like a standard American diet, conventional food that you would buy from the grocery store, like an Albertsons or a Smith's or a Harris Teeter, something like that. I'm not talking about Whole Foods or Sprouts or Thrive Market or any of those places. I'm talking about conventional food that you buy from the grocery store. Typically, when you go there, you are buying food that is presented to you in a way that looks really good, right? The bananas, they look green a little bit, but you're like, I'll buy those because they'll ripen on my shelf. Or maybe you're in the produce section and it's, what month are we? It's May. So you're like, oh, I'm making this recipe and it calls for tomatoes. So I'm going to grab these tomatoes because they look good. But then you eat them and you're like, why don't these taste very good, right? And you're trying to figure out what in the world is wrong with this recipe. It tastes really good in the fall. It just doesn't taste as rich right now. And that's because these foods are being picked out of season. Or if they're in season somewhere else, they're being picked prematurely, set on a shipment container, and sometimes sit in these cooling containers for up to 6 months. I'm talking like grapes at Costco, celery, like all these different oranges, apples. Apples is the longest, actually. That one sits in the containers for the longest. So when you're considering the nutrient deficiency within the soils where we're actually consuming food, we are all, in fact, it's like 93% of Americans are nutrient deficient. And I think those who aren't are living on a farm and they are self-sustained and they eat everything from their own garden. And unfortunately, that's not something that's realistic for most of us. And in my fast-paced mom of 4, and I had 4 boys in 4 years, so they're all really close together. It's a little bit of a crazy show over here, if you know what I mean. And so in my life, I can't live in a way where I can eat like go to a farmer's market every day and get fresh food. That just isn't realistic. But what is realistic is I can make better choices, and I can eliminate things from our diet that I know are triggers for us. And more importantly, for my twins and their digestive system, I've been able to really target the things that trigger more of their autism behaviors and what sets them off. And so just eliminating some of these simple things can really up-level your health. But then when you incorporate something like a natural, completely whole food supplement, it's taking the things inside your body that you're missing in that moment in time. And it's doing it in a way that's really effective because it is from its natural food source. Your body just goes, oh, I recognize that, right? It's like, that's nutrition. Let me just go ahead and absorb that. But when you take a supplement from like a big box store, like Target or Costco, which I used to get my supplements from there too, prenatals and all of that, I would find that my pee, I don't know a better word for that, urine, that's uglier, so pee, my pee would be like bright green or bright yellow. And I always thought that was really strange. And then through my courses and learning more about nutrition, I learned that the reason that happens is because on the back of these supplement bottles, you would see, like at those big box stores, it would say like 2,000 or 5,000% of your daily intake. So here you are absorbing something or trying to absorb something in this massive quantity. And your body's like, I'm not having that. Your liver, which that's like a whole other discussion we could get into because that's like my favorite topic, but your liver is sluggish when you're not eating whole foods and lots of fibrous, healthy things, right? So it slows down just based on your diet. So when you incorporate something like a supplement into your diet, your liver's like, I can't handle that. I won't be able to absorb that many supplements at one time. In fact, it has like a pushback. It's so counterproductive for your liver that it just pees it all out. But the difference between something like that and what doTERRA offers is that it's assimilatable. So it literally becomes a part of you. It is serving your body on a cellular level and doing it in a really ingenious way. I am obsessed with these supplements, not just because of Tara's story, which was so touching, but because it's helped so many people, including myself, my kids, my husband, and there's no real price tag you can put on how you feel and your health. So I just want to briefly touch on these 3, as she mentioned, the LLVs, a little nickname. So the first one is that multivitamin. This is the Microplex DMZ. And the multivitamin is going to cover all those basic fundamental trace minerals and vitamins that you're missing in your diet. Your A, your B, your C, B12, CoQ10, magnesium, fiber, potassium, all the really important ones that you're lacking. And zinc, I mean, that's like, oh my gosh, I read a book last night about zinc and I was like, I need zinc. I like went to my supplements in the morning and I was so excited to take them. Because everyone needs zinc and you need vitamin D, especially in the winter, right? So there's these things that you're just intrinsically missing and your body needs them. And so you reach towards things in your diet because you're like missing something. And you might get to the bottom of that pita chip bag and you're like, why did I just eat this entire pita chip bag? Yeah, it's kind of healthy, but not the whole bag. And so you finish the bag and you feel really bad, but you're still not fulfilled nutritionally. You're just eating it as empty calories because you're like in need of something. And that's what's so rad about these supplements, especially the multivitamin, is it fulfills all of those, it fills in all of those gaps. Okay, so the next one is the XE Omega. There's also a vegan version. So there's the regular and the vegan. And they're both really great. So the XE Omega has land and marine oils. So you are in dire need of DHA omega-3s. It's not made in your body. Like they don't just, it's not created on its own. But you consume a lot of inflammatory foods like omega-6s and omega-9s. And so in order to counteract that inflammation, the body needs omega-3s to function. It helps with all the big organs, your heart, your lungs, your liver, your brain. That's a big one. Every single part of our, oh gosh, hi. What did she say, Karen? Only in breast milk. Yeah, exactly. I love it. So essentially what happens is these tissues, they require these fatty acids to really function properly and get the body moving. And the only way to really effectively do that is to take a supplement, take a fish oil that is delivered in a way that your body can assimilate and absorb. And the reason why it works so well from doTERRA is because it's also formulated with 9 different essential oils targeted toward things like brain health, heart health, lungs, liver, stomach, all of that. So when you consume an omega-3, especially, I feel like maybe I'm just like aging myself, but my brain has slowed down after having kids. And I notice when I don't take them that I'm more forgetful, that I'm more prone to anxiety, that I'm less patient, and I'm more stressed. And so to me, it's definitely worth it to have something that I can just very easily swallow, because that's another complaint I get a lot is I don't like to take supplements. I don't want to take pills. And it's like, well, how many times do you chew your food? Do you count that? Because it's like a couple swallows, right? It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so the last one is the Alpha Serum. And this one is the antioxidant blend from doTERRA. And this is not necessary for people who are eating all whole foods. Like they're exclusively eating whole foods and they're not eating sugar or anything processed. But if you are in any way eating those things, it's really important to up your antioxidant intake. So for me, I feel like it's really relevant at all times of the year, even though I eat really well, or really clean, I should say. I don't want to put like a well or a bad stigma onto the food. I just want you to know that I try to consciously eat very clean for my health. And so I still take the Alpha Serum Plus and I still feel an incredible difference based upon the fact that the antioxidant quantity is able to work through the mitochondria of your cells. So it gives you energy. So if I can get through my day without feeling sluggish, again, it's worth it. It's worth it to take that time in the morning to really start to incorporate something like that. Okay, I don't want to take too much time. I feel like I'm talking forever, but 2 more that Tara touched on that helped with her pelvic pain and also digestive system. So one of them is called, I don't know if you've heard of Terrazyme, but basically that's just a nickname given to digestive enzymes. So if you've heard of digestive enzymes, what they do is they do 2 things physically in the body. They physically digest the food, so like crunch and munch it down in your stomach. And then the second thing they do is they help the body to absorb the nutrients you've eaten so that you don't just I don't want to say poop, but poop them all out. I said it. So anyway, why these are relevant and why they're so important and something that I feel I would never go a day without. I mean, I have them right here in my bag. Tara's been to dinner with me. She knows I carry this around. These are my digestive enzymes. It's so important. There are 10 different food groups that they cover. So all the different food groups that you're consuming on a daily basis, if you have any kind of food sensitivity to them, it will help to reduce those symptoms. And what's really special about that and why I find it to be like my holy grail is because you never know what's going to sneak in there. You might have a sensitivity at certain times of the month based on your cycle, or you might know that you're lactose intolerant, or you have a sensitivity to gluten or whatever. When you take this, and again, if you have celiac, that's a different issue, but when you take this, it really does tailor and help the body to find a way to heal that. So it goes in and regulates your system. And then beyond that, the deeper conversation about digestive enzymes, and more importantly, the one from doTERRA, is that it does help to regulate hormones. So that's one of my niche classes that I teach a lot with women, is just being able to balance hormones. And so this is my very number 1 suggestion for them. Okay, last but not least, this is our probiotic. And I'm sure you're all thinking like, oh yeah, I drink kombucha, or I said that for you, Jordan. I eat yogurt, or I already take a probiotic. It's great. I'm so happy that you consume probiotics in your life. What this does is it's going to up-level that probiotic intake for you because it's double encapsulated. I wish I had one with me. They're in my fridge. This is just an empty bottle. But what it does is it preserves the sensitive living microorganisms that are in that supplement. So how it does that with the outside rim is it's a prebiotic layer. And prebiotic layer is just chlorophyll. It's basically fiber that when the probiotic is released in your hind gut, like your lower gut area, that it can repopulate and proliferate even more because it feeds off of the prebiotic layer. This is like maybe too much information, but just know this. This is why it's important to take a probiotic. You need living microorganisms within your digestive tract to help you balance your digestive health. Your microbiome, which is all the living bacteria in your stomach, there are trillions of them. There's actually more of them than there are cells in your body, and more of them than there are humans that have ever lived on the earth. And so think about how important that is. It's like an entire ecosystem chilling in your body every day, trying to make you healthy. And to top it off, there is this brain-gut connection that science is just now catching up with, that my therapist and I talked about 5 or 6 years ago, who is now taking this probiotic because he realized how well it works at being able to balance that serotonin release and endorphins, because there are more neurons in your digestive lining than there are in your brain. And so if you can support the body on an emotional level from your digestion, that's pretty magnificent, if you ask me. So I'm sorry I talked too long. I love you. Back to you.
Okay, I had to remember how to unmute myself. You did not talk too long. You talked the perfect amount. And I love that you ended with the probiotics and that gut brain health connection, because I think that that was one of the gaps for me that was missing, is that I was doing all of this meditation. I'm doing all of this like really powerful emotional work to stabilize the brain, to create new neuron pathways, but I was suffering so much from gut health issues, so many allergies, so much digestive problem, like in excruciating pain all the time. And that was missing. And so taking those probiotics and calming my gut brought a lot of inner peace and enhanced that brain, it enhanced my brain health in huge ways. So I'm really grateful that you talked about that. Because the last thing that we're going to do as part of this class is we're going to do our morning call. And we're going to do 11 minutes of long neck on cars, because this is the ritual that has brought us all together. And this is day 20 of our challenge. For those of you who started the same day, for some of you it might be day 19 or even day 18, counting. So difficult right now. But so we're going to do 11 minutes of that. And then after we do that 11 minutes, then I'm going to turn the time back over to Lena. So if you happen to have an essential oil that you want to rub on the palm of your hands, go ahead and put a little oil on your hands. I'm going to put a little frankincense on the back of my neck. Find your meditation cushion. Need my little headscarf. Also, one of my rituals, keeping thousands of headscarves as close to me as possible, so that no matter where I am, I can wrap my head. Okay, so go ahead, wrap your head if you're gonna wrap. If you're not going to, also fine. I'm just gonna do a quickie little wrap. Also, I promised you that I would bring you a head wrap class soon. It's coming.
I want to learn. I want to learn.
Yeah. We'll do that this week. So just quick, like, wrap your scarf. Okay, and we're going to return to our tune-in mantras. So go ahead, rub those hands together and press those thumbs into heart center. I want you to close those eyes. I want you to roll those eyes up to that spot right between the eyebrows. Take a few deep inhales and exhales through the nose. Feeling yourself going inward. Doing a little bit of a body and brain scan. Noticing where you are at today. Allowing yourself to think about an intention, whether it's a phrase or a word, that you'd really like to experience as a result of this meditation, during this meditation. And then allow that to move to the back of the mind, turning our mind to our first mantra. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. I'm going to say this mantra 3 times together. Challenge you to really tap into your personal sound current. Inhale through the nose together. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale again. Exhale. Letting go. One more complete inhale and exhale. Exhale. 3 times with this first mantra. Inhale to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply. Hold and suspend that breath. Squeeze that root lock. Anus, sex organs, and navel point in and up. Holding the breath. Resetting the adrenal system. Forcing the body into fight or flight mode. Take another sip of air through the nose. Keep holding. Keep squeezing. Exhale. Release the breath. Take a few breaths here. Checking in with you. Noticing how that mantra helps your brain to feel. We're going to continue with the Mangalacharan mantra. That mantra for protection and projection. Imagine that circle being traced around the outside of you. Fill that circle with love vibrating from your heart center. Roll those eyes up to that spot between the eyebrows. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale again. Exhale through the mouth. 3 times again with this mantra. Inhale to continue. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Inhale deeply. Hold and suspend that breath. Squeeze that root lock again. Really challenging yourself this time to hold and suspend the breath. Quieting the ego. Just a few more moments. Exhale and release. Take a few breaths here. Checking in again with you. Noticing how you feel. And then opening those eyes. We're going to move into morning call. Lena, will you give me a thumbs up if the music sounds loud enough? I don't have my speaker today. So I turned my phone volume all the way up. It's pretty decent. But if you can't hear it, then you'll just hear me chanting, which is almost the same thing since it's me chanting on the track anyways. So sit up tall. Feel your sit bones rooting. Bring those hands into Gyan Mudra, resting in the knees, thumb and pointer finger pressed together, or hands at heart center, whichever feels most comfortable for you. Perfect. First inhale. Second inhale. Satnam. Sitting. Waheguru. Keep going. Really lean into that mantra. Feel that neck lock. City. Feel that resonance. Satnam. Sitting. Waheguru. Feel that root lock, just a little tug. Satnam. City. Waheguru. Satnam. City. Waheguru. Satnam. Sit. Waheguru. Satnam. City. Inhale deeply. Hold and suspend the breath. Squeeze that root lock. Holding, squeezing. Exhale and release. A few breaths here. Tuning into your breath, allowing it to normalize. Again, checking in, revisiting that intention you set at the beginning. I'm going to tune out with just one num, Sat Num, and then I'm going to turn some time over to Lena. So go ahead, rub those hands together again. Bring those thumbs back to heart center. Those palms pressed together. Close those eyes, roll them up to that spot between the eyebrows. Feel the spine lifting and lengthening. The sit bones are rooting in the ground. Inhale together through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more inhale. Exhale. And inhale for Satnam. Satnam. You are light, you are love, you are truth. You are always enough and never too much. You are empowered, you are compassionate, you are radiant, you are everything. You are truth. Satnam.
That was awesome.
The time is yours, Lena.
Thank you. I know we went over just a little bit, so I'm going to be brief. And for those of you who joined in while we were doing Ekankar, I would invite you to watch the recording. We will have it up in the group later tonight. It takes a minute to upload to my YouTube and stuff, but I can't wait to share it with you for those of you who joined in. I want to just kind of touch really quickly as we close this out on how important it is to really connect, not just mind and soul, but mind, body, soul. And I think what Tara's done today is really beautiful in showing us how that can be done, not just with tuning in with the meditation, but also showing some physical things that you can incorporate in your daily habits to up-level your health, up-level your meditation, up-level your body, your mind, spirit, all of it. And I think it's really beautiful. So Tara has some fun giveaways she wants to do for those of you who are ready to get started with the things that we talked about. And before I even touch on what those giveaways are, I want to first kind of touch on the idea that it's really important to align yourself with a community of people that you feel comfortable and safe with and that you feel can be a support to you. So with doTERRA, as Tara knows, she used to work for corporate. It's a very people-driven company, and connection is important. It's not about buying these things on Amazon. It's not about getting access to these things through your mom's account or some cousin. It's about taking ownership of your health, taking ownership of your healing. And the best way to do that is really to align yourself with Tara. And I think Tara has a gorgeous way of running her life, as you can see. I don't think I would feel more safe or comfortable with anyone else than her. So you're in good company for sure. And as all of you know, otherwise you wouldn't even be doing this awesome 40-day Kriya with her. So the cost of a membership is $35. And what that gives you is access to Tara. It's her community. It's aligning yourself with someone that can hold your hand and link arms so that the healing process doesn't feel lonely, that you can do it together, and that you have the support to be able to do that. So the $35 fee is waived when you begin with something called a starter kit. And so what we shared today, some of Tara's very favorites with the supplements and the oils. And we forgot to mention there's also this really great muscle relaxant, muscle rub for aches and pains. I know for me, I had back pain with all of my labors, and I just have this like severe lower back problems every time I do meditation. And so I love to use this afterwards, just to kind of release some of that tension. And it definitely works like for an extended period of time. So it goes deep into the tissues and really helps that inflammation and healing and promotes that, rather than just being like a Band-Aid over the pain. So all of those oils, all of those supplements, and this lovely deep blue, and the membership is included in this starter kit for $158. And to me, that's like such a drop in the bucket for what we put ourselves out there for. Because a lot of times, I don't know if you get caught up in this. I used to get caught up in this, where you would see a commercial or you'd see an ad and you felt like, well, that's the next best thing, so I better get it. Rather than focusing in, turning our mind inward, and really discovering where our problem lies, serving that root cause, healing the body on a deeper level, and not just reaching for the next best thing to cover up and mask those symptoms you're feeling, whether it's fatigue or hormonal imbalances, PMS, headaches, whatever it is that you're facing. You don't have to live with that there is freedom on the other side. And I think Tara is the link between that. And so with that $158 investment, you will have all of those fun things plus Tara, and then she wants to give away some fun stuff. So let's share. So peppermint, she talked about peppermint, but it's not in the starter kit. So you can choose between a peppermint touch, which is like a cool little touch roller. Basically, it has a roller ball on the end there so that you can use it on the go. It's really user friendly. I keep it in my purse. As she mentioned, it's like very invigorating. It lifts you up. It wakes you up. It's just energizing for me. I don't drink coffee, and some of my friends in life think I'm crazy. Like, how do you make it through the day? And I say my supplements and my peppermint, both of those together. And then you can choose either the peppermint touch or the anchor, which is mine and Tara's favorite right now. Through different seasons of my life, I gravitate towards an oil that really speaks to me. And right now it's this. I have it in every coat pocket, in every sweater pocket, in my bag, in my bathroom. Like, I have an anchor all over the house and even in the car. So you can choose between the anchor or the peppermint as a free gift when you decide to enroll with Tara. So essentially, an enrollment, you might think that's like a very intimidating word, or that sounds like a lot of pressure, but really an enrollment just means becoming a customer, that you will have 25% off of all of doTERRA's products for 12 months with your enrollment, and that you'll have your own little, almost like an Amazon Prime account, where you can go in, and if you decide, you can order a wellness subscription box to come to your home every month. It's what I do because these are products that I use every month. So I want to do it smart, and I want to do it effectively. And the best way for me to do that is making sure I save money, right? I want to make sure that I am buying things that are saving me money. And doTERRA has some really cool rewards programs. So if you're enrolled somewhere else, if you're buying your products somewhere else, you can still talk to Tara about different ways to be a part of her community. So again, if you want to get started, I would highly recommend reaching out to her one-on-one, either like DMing her or email. Is that the best way?
Yeah, you can email me, thegonggoddess@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram. Instagram is the easiest, probably.
And thank you again so much for having me tonight, Tara, or today. Thank you so much. Really.
You're so knowledgeable. So thank you.
You're amazing.
And thanks for everyone else for being here. Hopefully this will help you enhance the next 20 days of your 40-day challenge, the last half of your challenge. So thanks for being here. So much love to you, Lisa and Lena. Thank you. Bye.